What is up, YouTube? Back 318. Can it be better than the last pay-per-view? Probably not, at least on my scale. What card we have today, or not today, tomorrow, this week, whatever you're watching. Either way, let's pull it up. Let's talk about the predictions. Name quality, not the best, especially for not having any title fights on here because I don't count the BMF title as a real title. The card is just, it's tricky, you know. There's a lot of fun fights, but the name value is like, So I felt like they could have done better. Yes, I'm still a simp. I will still buy this from the UFC because they had me right by the balls. But will I be happy when I purchase it? Absolutely not. So we're going to kick off with the first fight. I believe the only female fight on the card. Fight of the year. You know how it goes. Nicole Cagliari versus Carly Judice. Judice by decision. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure Judice coming off the KO win over that one girl that was like a minus, or that was like a plus 1400 underdog on the Contender Series. Had a lot of hype. What's his name? Something Dubon, the Venezuelan or Colombian, I forget. And then Judice. That was actually a pretty good fight. Like, all jokes aside, that Judice and Dubon fight was actually pretty good. They both had moments. Judice was getting the better though at the end, and then found the KO. So I'm gonna rock with Judice here, just because I don't know anything about Cagliari. I don't think Judice is gonna get the finish though. She does so, then she'll. Ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna put her on the watch list. No, I'm not gonna put her on the watch list unless she looks really good out there. She's got to be looking like prime Valentina out there for me to be considering that. But I do think Judice will win. I will be shocked if she doesn't. Don't let the record fool you. I believe she's only 4-2. That's how I got fooled the last time picking Dubon. She actually is, at least from that Dubon fight, a pretty decent fighter in that division. So be curious to see what happens there. But I'm going to rock Judice, and we're going to go by decision to play it safe. On to the next one. We got, what is it? Oh, no. What happened? Oh, there we go. Bruno Ferreira versus Jackson McVeigh. Bruno Ferreira, I don't think don't think he'll ever be like a top 10 caliber middleweight. I think he'll always be hovering like right outside top 15. Maybe will be in top 15 at some points during his career. One of my favorite fighters, not only in the middleweight division but on the roster of UFC. This guy's always so fun to watch. I still think his KO of RoboCop in 2023 was my personal favorite KO. Just because I don't know why. It was just the way he just set up that left straight was so beautiful. And that was like right in the beginning of that year too. That was that Brazil card with the Glover and Jamal Hill title fight. So, I've always been a big fan of Ferreira. Last year when he had the spinning elbow against Solstice, that was sick, dude. That was awesome. I do think he gets it done by KO. I'm going to go second round, though. I don't know anything about Jackson McVeigh outside the fact he was supposed to fight a few weeks ago. And now he's coming back on short notice again. I think this is the third short notice fight. Two of them have been canceled. I'm going to rock with Ferreira. I'm going to do second round KO, though. I think it's kind of slow in the first round, and then Ferreira just kind of finds a way to get it done. And continues from there, and maybe top 15 next. Probably not. Probably needs one more guy right outside of the division, but we'll see what happens with that. All right, and on to the next one. We got, oh gosh, this fight's horrible. Lucas Bresky versus Ryan Spann. These guys are horrible, and I would normally be a little more excited for Span coming up to a heavyweight because I was talking about this last week with Petrino. You know, the usually the guys moving up into a different weight class, if they build themselves correctly, they're gonna dominate a lot more than the lower weight class, just because the IQ and the technicality of like, I guess their skill sets will translate a lot better moving up, as long as they're able to carry the size effectively. Span was the first person that I could think of off the top of my head that was not able to do that. He literally just, who was it? Was it Waldo Cortez Acosta? I think that's who it was, and he looked horrible. He might have looked worse at heavyweight than light heavyweight, and you know, I really don't think I can trust Span. But the problem is, he's facing arguably one of the worst heavyweights on the roster, Lucas Bresky. So I'm gonna rock with Span. I'm gonna think it's gonna be a dirty, dirty first round KO, where Span's gonna get rocked, Bresky's gonna get rocked, and it's just gonna Bresky's gonna be the one to fall first. So we're gonna rock Span first round KO. I will watch it in terms of just like entertainment and not entertainment like, oh wow, this is such a high level fight. Oh shoot. Iberian Wolf. Oh shoot. So that thing runs up on me, I'm gonna throw up. Yeah, but like I was saying, don't think I'll be entertained in terms of skill wise, but in terms of just goofiness, sloppiness. Oh my gosh. Yo, if these things sneak up on me, that's crazy. Alright, I'm just gotta be very careful here. But yeah, I think there will be a finish. There's no way this fight goes decision. There is no way, unless they're both just somehow so afraid of each other, afraid of being cut, that they're trying to do whatever it takes to win. But no, these guys are going to come in here, act like goofballs, throw winging shots. First one to drop is going to be the one that loses. On to the next fight. Marcin Prachnio versus Jimmy Crute. Such a tough fight yet again, man. Oh my gosh. I really do like Jimmy Crute. I was somewhat pretty high on him. Um, I don't remember him versus Anthony Smith, but I remember being very high on him against Jamal Hill. He let me down. There was a few times. Oh my goodness. These Iberian Wolves are crazy, man. But yeah, I just don't know if I could trust the durability of Crute. He worries me a lot. I think he's been in and out of the sport, like saying he's going to retire. He's about to if he keeps losing. So, question the mentality as well now. Prachnio isn't that good, but he's like good enough to like. I don't even know if it's say stay out of danger, but man, he's technical enough where he can get around. He's just kind of slow, but from what I remember, especially in his last fight, he was pretty versatile with his striking. I think he always has been, though. He's just a little slower. Um, I'm gonna go Prachnio decision. I think it's the safer bet. I don't see Prachnio finishing him. I don't think he's gonna try to chase a finish. I think he's gonna drop Crute once or so. I think Crute's gonna dominate in the wrestling though in certain parts of the fight, and even like threaten some submission attempts. But I think the durability is gonna really show yet again for Crute, and he's gonna lose a 29-28, maybe a 30-27. But I'm seeing 29s, 28s across, and maybe a split, maybe something weird. I know last time Crute fought, there was a weird decision. I think it was a draw or something, but. On to the next fight. We got a massive prospect over here. We got Islam Dulatov versus Adam Fugit. This fight should be easy for Dulatov if what people are saying, what I've seen myself is correct. First off, one of the nastiest straight right hands I've ever seen in my life. It might be the nastiest. I didn't watch the fight live. I saw like a highlight of it on Instagram. So clean. It was insane. Like that, he put everything into that. It kind of looked like he like almost collided with his head on it. It was nasty. They were actually, both these guys were supposed to fight. I believe it was on that Seattle card back in February. I forget who pulled out. I think it was Dulatov. Because of his Fuji, they would just sign somebody to literally sacrifice to him anyway. So I don't even know why Fuji's still in the UFC. Actually, I think he is coming off a win too, which is so weird. But yeah, this should be easy work for Dulatov. I'm going to go first round KO. I think the first half of that first round is going to be very slow, and it's just he's going to find one punch and he's going to be dead. That's how it is. I think this guy is going to be legit. I'm not going to go as far as saying champion yet. It's just like, especially with how evolved MMA is nowadays. There's so much still I have to see before I can even say that. So I'm going to rock Islam Dulatov by first round KO. On to the next fight, another absolute banger with a great prospect, a guy that should be on my watch list if I wasn't lazy and would update it consecutively. We got Robert Valentin versus Ateba Gaudier. Gaudier is the guy on the watch list. Robert Valentine's the cringe Viking from last season of The Ultimate Fighter. I did think he was going to be pretty good, though, because he has some insane striking, pretty versatile. However, in that tough finale, we saw weaknesses in the wrestling. And then not only that, he was a witness, not even a witness, he was a victim to that Torres Finney-Smith absolute grapple, fuck. What was it? It was literally, it was just an absolute clinic of lay and pray, honestly. I watched that fight and I didn't hate Torres Finney-Smith as most other people did, or Torres Finney, whatever. But I understand why people were mad in a way, but Valentin, I mean, if I'm Gaudier, I don't know what his wrestling credentials are, but if I'm Gaudier, I'm shooting for legs and ground and pounding this dude. This dude is middleweight Francis Ngannou. This dude is a massive, like for this division especially. It's so hard to say how good he's going to be because it was a Jose Medina win, but Jose Medina is one of those guys that will eat shots and then you'll just put up an all-time performance because he never goes down. And Gaudier got him out in the first round. Like, it was insane. So I'm looking forward to this one. I am going to go Gaudier first round KO. But that's more wishful thinking, though. That's more like me hoping that he turns into the star and also not really liking this Valentin guy. But yeah, we're going to go Gaudier first round KO. I'll be sad if Valentin wins, but I could see a way. I don't think Valentin is that bad, and if Gaudier is going to strike with him the whole time, you're giving him a lot of opportunity for Valentin to land one of those crazy elbows, set up some knees, do something crazy. But, I'm hoping I'm wrong there. I'm hoping Gaudier be a little strategic with it. Switch it up. I'm not saying wrestle the whole time. I'm not saying wrestle most of the time. Switch it up. Stay with him on the feet for a little bit. Takedown at the end of the round. And then start at the back on the feet. Takedown end around. Just like keep a nice little tempo, all that. Win yourself a fight, even if it's by points. It'll still be decent. Let's get you on a win streak, all right? On to the next fight, we got Nikolai Vretnikov versus Francisco Prado. Vretnikov, I didn't see his last fight. I think he fought on the Seattle card. He lost to, I think he was the guy that lost to Paige Van Sand's husband, Austin Vanderford or whatever. So this guy can't be good. I don't remember too much about Prado. I can't remember if he's good or if he's overrated. I'm gonna rock with Prado by decision though. Not much to talk about. I don't know why I can't think of either of these guys too much. That's the casual in me, I guess. But either way, Prado decision. On to the next fight. Some bad blood. I hate where they placed this fight on the card. This should have been on the main card at the press conference. And that's Marvin Vittori versus Brendan Allen. Insane this was taken off the main card. The main card's not even stacked too. If the main card were stacked, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Like, we don't need it just for the press conference to be on the main card. Especially if they don't, I mean, both of them aren't really exciting fighters like that anyway. So I get it from that perspective, but with like the bad blood and everything, you could have built this fight up and built this main card up a little bit more if you had him in the press conference. Because especially with how Paulo Costa was acting at the press conference yesterday, you could have had Vittori and Allen going at it, and then you could have had, you know, Costa and Vittori going back at it again about that stuff from like a few years ago when Costa missed weight by like 30 pounds, and then, you know, maybe Allen and Costa are chirping, maybe Kopylov comes from left field and starts talking shit on Vittori, you know, it could have been fun, but, and then Holland could have joined in on all of that, you know what I mean, but it's whatever. They obviously wanted to, you know, continue to be mediocre. Not that I'm saying this would have pushed it over the top, but it would have been better, you know. So it's a shame, honestly, absolute shame. But either way, I'm gonna rock with. Wait on, I gotta get uphill. Either way, I'm gonna rock with Allen by decision. Vittori looked horrible in that Dolidze rematch. That, in my opinion, should have been a layup. I don't think Dolidze's that good. I think he has gotten better. I still think he is not good, though. Um, or not that good to be top 10 in middleweight, whatever. But, you know, either way, I think Allen's better. I think the grappling's going to negate over here, and then I think you're just going to see the pillow hands from Vittori. Allen's going to be better with the volume, I think. I think Allen's going to win this one 30-27 clearly, and then Vittori's going to make a scene again, thinking it's a robbery, you know, like he did with the Adesanya fight that wasn't even really close. So, yeah, I got Allen decision. I'm not expecting this one to be an absolute barn burner, but maybe it is. Maybe the bad blood will feel it into that. I'm hoping for like a Covington Usman 1 type thing where, like I said, the grappling will negate. They're on the feet and they're just trading the whole time, and you know, both respecting each other, but at the same time both throwing hands trying to get the other guy out of there. So that'd be cool if we get something like that right before the main card. And then on to the prelim headliner, we got Kyler Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. This fight is actually so good. I'm very excited for Vinicius Oliveira. Wasn't really a fan at first, but after the Saeed Nurmagomedov fight, that was insane. He just looked gassed the whole time, but he just kept going, bro. Dude's a machine. I would love to see this guy build up, and I mentioned this to one of my friends or someone I was talking to at work, something, and I was saying if this Vinicius Oliveira guy beats Phillips, you know, maybe beats 2 ranked guys, and you know, Merab happens to somehow be champion, would love to see an Oliveira and Merab fight, you know, and that's because. And that's assuming Oliveira's grappling at least somewhat improves. I'm not saying get to Merab's level. That's obviously fairly realistic or unrealistic anymore. But yeah, I'm really excited for this fight. I'm not too high on Kyler Phillips. I think he has one of the worst IQs in that bantamweight division. One of the most well-rounded fighters, though, in that division as well. So I will give him his flowers when they are due. However, I think Vinicius Oliveira is going to win this. I'm going to go decision, though. If he starts as Phillips, which I do think is a real chance, I'm just taking the safer route here. That would be awesome, man. That would be another guy to watch out for at bantamweight, and it's so weird. Bantamweight kind of needs some guys right now because the up and comers are getting killed off by like the Rob Fonts of the world and stuff. So, I would love to see a Vinicius Oliveira win here, and I'm gonna rock decision as a safe bet. Could 100% see a flash KO. On to the main card, the first fight, we have Daniel Zellhuber versus Michael Johnson. Another absolute banger. I don't think this fight goes into the third round. That might be a prop to look out for, depending on what the odds are. What's that? Oh, it disappeared. But yeah, I think nothing's out here, huh? What the heck? Nothing's out here. What the heck is this? What? Alright, my bad. Yeah, another fight I think is gonna be banger. Prop to look out for is fight not start round 3 if it's not too crazy of odds. I'm rocking Zellhuber second round KO. The durability of Michael Johnson's so sketchy. I know it's Michael Johnson, like probably the most inconsistent fighter on the UFC roster outside maybe a Jake Matthews. Beats like a Prime Poirier, but loses to Douglas Carlo Ferreira or something like that. I mean, there's some other sketchy ones in there. Ferreira is actually somewhat decent, but yeah, I'm rocking Zellhuber second round KO. I think it's going to be an absolute war. They're going to also talk about this fight of the year potential, even though it's going to end in a finish, in my opinion. It's going to be like that Randy Brown Dalby fight, kind of. It's like they're both going to just be trading, and then all of a sudden, just that will be the end of Michael Johnson. I don't know about in the UFC. They might keep him around because he's fun and a vet. And kind of a brand. And kind of has a name, kind of. Because he's been around so long. But yeah, second round KO, Zellhuber. Keeps him at range. That's gonna be the way he wins. I do think Johnson's gonna get his shots in, but I think Zellhuber's gonna be good at keeping that range, preventing Johnson from closing the distance and everything. Um, I do worry about Johnson's power though, and Zellhuber was in that absolute war with what's his name, Esteban Ribovic, and man, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I think Zellhuber's, I think he's legit, but we don't know how he's going to look after that absolute war. That might have been fight of the year last year. That might have been fight of the year last year. That was such a good fight between him and Ribovic, but yeah, I gotta trust in Zellhuber, the younger guy. Probably the more well-rounded guy too at this point in his career, I'd imagine. Can't see Johnson really mixing it up on him like that. I think Johnson's going to play into his game, and that's how we're going to end up with that second round KO. On to the next fight, we got Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. Kind of a tough fight. I'm honestly just going to come out and say I'm rocking with Ige by decision. There might be some subconscious bias to it as to why I'm picking Ige, but I think it's more so I've only seen Pitbull fight once. He looked not good against Yair, who I think is one of the most overrated top 5 fighters I've ever seen in my lifetime. Um, and yeah, Pitbull just didn't look good. I think he had like one moment where I don't think he even rocked Yair. I think he just like stunned him, I guess, I had some people say the same thing, but I think there's levels of stunned and rocked and all that, and I think Ige still kind of got it, man. I think he's still like decent. Like the whole Diego Lopez, like I hate to kind of use that because there's so many weird circumstances that could have affected why that fight played out like that. But he went all 3 rounds with Dan Ige. He went all 3 rounds with Diego Lopez. Dan Ige did, and He won a round in there. I think it was the third round. Like, Dan Ige is no joke, man. I think he's still got it. I wouldn't say he's in his prime, but, you know, he's still around. I wonder, how old is Dan Ige, actually? I know he's younger than Pitbull, but he's old, I'd imagine. 33. Okay, so actually he might be in his prime right now. Which is so weird to say because this is probably like the lowest he's ever been ranked since his ascend to the top. Oh yeah, he's coming off the Woodson knockout. I totally forgot about that. Oh yeah, he might be in his prime. I don't even really remember that Murphy and Topuria fight. Oh my gosh, yeah, he's fought twice since then. I'm tripping. My goodness. But either way, yeah, Dan Ige, you know, still has it, man. So we'll see what happens there. But I think that Woodson one was an early stop. It was a bad stoppage or something from what I remember. Woodson always has bad luck with the refs, but I'm rocking Ige decision. I feel like that's by far the safest bet you could do. Oh, Red Deer. Oh, dang it. Where the heck are these freaking deer, bro? On to the next fight. D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez versus Kevin Holland. Um, I'm picking Holland. It's just the hardest part was by what. Even though I picked Rodriguez to beat Ponzinibbio last time, a lot has happened even since the D-Rod and Ponzinibbio fight, if I'm not mistaken. So Holland, after the RDR loss, and we kind of realized why now he lost that bad. And what was the fight before that? He had another horrible fight before that, I'm pretty sure. But either way, Holland is looking good enough to be a guy Daniel Rodriguez's caliber. He's better at welterweight anyway. Um, yeah, I don't know, dude. Kevin Holland, man. I'm rocking Holland. I could see a sub. Like, I could see a club and sub kind of thing. I can see... Is that those bushes? Yeah, I can see club and sub being a thing. I can see... How is there no animals out here? This is crazy. I'm just gonna freaking wrap up this video quick, honestly. Just playing right here, I guess, till I hear something. Unbelievable. Whatever. Yeah, I can see club and sub. I can see flash KO. I am gonna rock with decision though. I think D-Rod's gonna look like good enough where he's gonna survive. I can even see him winning a round, maybe. So I'm gonna say 230-27s and 129-28. Maybe 130-27, 229-28. Rock and Holland decision. Not too excited. I like kinda excited for that fight, but like not really. Not really, honestly. Or not as much as like I would think I would be. I don't know. And then on to the co-main event. Trash co-main event. I don't understand it. The UFC loves Paulo Costa though. Because when I found out this was the co-main event, I was like, huh. So Paulo Costa has the last 3 times he's fought, he's co-main evented pay-per-views. And not only that, the fights that he got canceled or like pulled out of or got canceled because of his opponent were also scheduled to be co-main events. So the UFC loves him in this co-main event slot, and I thought it was always because it was the people he was facing as well as him a little bit. But you know, Roman Kopylov's not that big of a name, if big at all. Like he's big, he's somewhat big with like the diehards, the hardcore fans, and all that. But the casual fans, I don't think they know about this guy like that. Um, it's a tricky fight to predict. I don't know why they put this as a co-main event. Like actually, I was about to say I wish for Allen and Vittori to be co-main event rather, but now, cause that's too much. But I mean, what else would you do? Yeah, I guess like Allen Vittori would have to be the one, you know? Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I think like Costa's losses are like to elite guys, man. But I question the motivation. I question the mentality. I question what he's going to look like after all this time off. And Kopylov, I think, is only getting better. Only getting better. I think he's going to be a problem, even after that Fluffy Hernandez loss. I think he's going to be a legitimate issue. It's tough. I'm gonna go Kopylov by decision. It's gonna be another close one, split, or 29-28s across the board for. Almost died. Oh. Yeah, or it's gonna be splits or 29-28s across the board for Kopylov. Um, it's one of those things, man. Um, it's just such a tough fight to predict. I'll be happy with either result. Probably for the sake of division, be better for Kopylov, but for entertainment value and fighter I like more value, I would love Paulo Costa to win. But for the sake of the division, it would definitely be better for Kopylov. On to the next fight, we got the main event, BMF title belt on the line. Hopefully, if Poirier wins, I just gave it away. Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway 3. Holloway down 0-2. Hopefully, Poirier wins. They retire it forever, but they won't. They're probably going to end up expanding this belt, which is ridiculous. Another mediocre move by the UFC. Either way, it's one of those, man, where heart says Dustin, brain says Holloway. Holloway's already 0-3 to one opponent in his career, and that's Alexander Volkanovski. I think it's tough, man. It's so tough. Oh my gosh, man. I really want Dustin to win so bad, man. I really do. I think I'm rocking Holloway, man. I'm rocking Holloway. And here's why. I think Holloway his chin isn't going to be that depleted from the Topuria fight because he's at 155 again. Do I still worry a little bit? Absolutely, 100%. Topuria knocked him out cold. And usually when these guys with fantastic chins, once they get cracked, they like never stay the same. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, Holloway. I'm gonna say he got, oh my gosh. Oh. I'm gonna say he's gonna beat Poirier by decision. It's going to be a close fight, but like people are gonna argue like Dustin should have won, but most people are gonna say Max won. And we're gonna see 248 47s, 149 46. That was absolutely unwarranted again in favor of Holloway in Louisiana. People are going to be pissed. Some people are even going to suggest they should have given it to Poirier since it was his last fight. That's how crazy I feel like it's about to be. But I think this one, I I don't think this one's going to have as much volume at the same time. I'm not saying it's going to be boring, but I've seen parts of the second one, and I don't think I've ever seen the first one. But I think I think both guys are going to really respect each other. I think Dustin's going to try really hard to win and not get into a brawl. And I think Max being worried about his chin and not knowing how that's going to look is going to be worried about getting into the brawl. Still think it's going to be a fun fight. I just don't think it's going to be like an absolute war where like it's like fight of the year contender type thing. But we'll see. I'm hoping Dustin wins. I think he does have a decent chance to win. And for whatever reason, it's just maybe it's because how old Poirier is. He's not even that old. I'm just saying like older, I guess. Um, I think it's way harder for him to go out there and win 3 times in a row against Holloway than for Holloway to get one against him, or Dustin to get his third, not get 3 in a row. But um, either way, that wraps up the card, man. It's a good one. It's one I'm looking forward to. I'm excited about it. Hunting was a horrible experience today. Probably not going back to Spain anytime soon. Um, but shout out to the dogs, shout out to the guys. Um, we're out here. Need to get the live stream set up because once we start live streaming, the YouTube channel is really going to kick off. But as of right now, we're just going to rock with it and we'll go from there. All right. Other than that, though, YouTube, it has been real. We'll see you after the fights. Recap will either be tomorrow or Sunday, and hopefully not Monday, but if I'm really lazy, Monday. Goodbye.